This Romanze in F sharp is the second in a group of 3 romances composed by Schumann as a Christmas present for his fiancée Clara in 1839. In the manuscript, the composer marks andantino, but we more commonly encounter it as einfach or simply. With the word simply in mind, rubato and expression can certainly be strong features of this work. You could think of Schumann's sumptuous melody as a lover's duet, and for the most part this is played using the 2 thumbs in what we call the tenor register of the piano. This central area of the instrument benefited greatly from advances made to its construction around this time. The tone, and especially the instrument's ability to sustain its sound, is central to the sound world of this piece. Done well, the effect is as rich as 2 French horns or perhaps 2 cellos. Tempo-wise, you'll come across performances at an almost funereal speed and others which move along a little bit more optimistically. But whatever your preference, the rhythmic flow suggested by the music's 6/8 time signature should always be clear. Schumann's delicious melody oozes out from the middle of a rich, romantic texture, and so perhaps inevitably the pianist finds accompanimental notes positioned both above and below it. This presumably accounts for Schumann's decision to notate the music mostly on 3 staves rather than the conventional 2, the main exception being the 9-bar middle section where the tune switches to an upper voicing. At bar 24, a more brooding, restless mood is created, and the texture, which is otherwise notably rich, unexpectedly becomes contrapuntal, albeit for only a brief time. Intriguingly, though there are areas where the music appears to rise in intensity, a single sforzando at bar 24 is the loudest moment Schumann marks into the entire piece. Indeed, keep in mind that much of the music inhabits a level of just P. For me, the most poignant place in the entire piece is from bar 27 to 31, where we have a unison melodic shape complete with highly expressive ornaments in both hands. The best solution to these is to play them before the beat. This miniature gem calls for real restraint, but at the same time a clear sense of purpose to sustain the music's ebb and flow. Indeed, you could argue that the real challenge of the piece is its subtlety and a need for absolute control. It would certainly suit a pupil with a keen sense of line, but could also do wonders for a pupil whom you are wanting to work at subtle aspects of their playing, such as balance or voicing. As far as size of hands is concerned, there are some larger stretches, particularly in the left hand, to negotiate, especially where the bass F sharps become traded for C sharps at the reprise at bar 18. Of course, pedal will help enormously in gluing the trickier manoeuvres together, as long as a more decisive rotary movement of the wrist is factored in. On the subject of pedalling, Schumann is not in the least specific, preferring instead to leave choices to the performer. Deprived of pedal, Schumann's Romanze is destined to sound rather dry and broken up. It needs pedal, not just to help smooth over the music's harmonies and long melodic lines, but also to give warmth and atmosphere to the playing. The key of the Romanze, F sharp major, gives it a rich sonority, and we don't have to look too far to find other romantic pieces composed in keys stacked up with sharps or flats, with a similar goal in mind. In terms of getting to grips with the notes, the key of course brings with it a few complications, at least initially, with E sharps abounding throughout and extra chromatic notes such as double sharps popping up more conspicuously throughout the central part of the score. The role played by the right hand as it crosses over the left at bars 25 and 26 also warrants some careful unpacking, if only to ensure that the notes coincide precisely where indicated. There may be a need to break the left hand chord at bar 25, and the lines drawn into the score here are a helpful guide when it comes to seeing how each strand of music is intended to connect to the next. The final repeat of the now very familiar main theme at bar 31 confirms to us we've been learning a piece in ternary form, though of course the final appearance of it is now abbreviated, Schumann simply allowing it to hang like a cobweb as the music drifts quietly away as daringly as the pianist is able. This is such a magical moment with the final melodic fragment now in octaves. I once heard a revered pianist comment that the softly repeating C sharps in each hand here are like two heartbeats sounding as one, a fitting conclusion to this marvellous work.